Most of us have seen the Hollywood version. The American veteran. He comes home from war. But the war does not leave him. He drinks. He isolates. He stares at nothing. He fights ghosts no one else can see. They call it post-traumatic stress. It sounds clinical, contained, almost manageable. But inside the mind of a soldier, it is not a diagnosis. It is an echo. This is the story of Malcolm Green. Malcolm Green was a pilot in the United States Air Force. He flew missions over Iraq, over Afghanistan, over deserts that looked endless from 30,000 feet. From above, war looks almost quiet, almost clean. It isn't. He remembers the heat rising off the runway before takeoff, the metallic smell of jet fuel, the way the cockpit felt both like armor and a coffin. Up there, decisions are made in seconds. Coordinates, clearance, confirmation, sometimes a flash on the ground, sometimes smoke, sometimes silence, and sometimes something that followed him home. "I remember the night I came back to Chicago," Malcolm once said. "I walked alone, downtown, late. The city was glowing. Restaurant windows were bright. People were laughing inside. And I kept thinking, how am I supposed to fit back into this? How do I become normal again?" Chicago was alive. Neon signs flickered in the rain. Cars moved in steady streams of light. Music spilled from open bar doors. And Malcolm walked through it all like a man underwater. The world felt too soft, too unguarded, too unaware. War simplifies everything. There is the mission. There is the team. There is the enemy. There is survival. Black and white. At home, everything is gray. In the grocery store, he would freeze. A simple aisle of cereal boxes. Too many choices. Too many colors. His heart would begin to pound. His eyes would scan corners, exits, reflections in glass doors. His body remembered danger, even when there wasn't any. "It's hard to stand in line at a supermarket," he explained once. "Small things irritate you. Daily routines feel meaningless. You can't just be happy like before." He would hear a drop bottle and feel his muscles tighten as if expecting an explosion. He would sit in traffic and feel trapped. He would wake up at 3 in the morning, fully alert, as if the night required watching. The hardest part wasn't fear. It was the distance. There is a massive gap between the life at war and life at home. While he was flying missions, his friends back in Chicago were building careers, planning weddings, posting vacation photos. And now, they talked about promotions, about weekend plans. And Malcolm nodded, smiled, said little. Because how do you explain what it feels like to watch coordinates turn into fire? How do you describe the silence after a strike? How do you tell someone that sometimes the sky itself feels heavy? You don't. You carry it. Alone. But the heaviest weight wasn't memory. It was guilt. Survivor's guilt. His squadron rotated out. Others stayed. Some never came home. While he stood in warm kitchens, they were still under fire. While he drank coffee at sunrise, they were watching desert horizons for movement. "How can everything continue like this?" he once asked. "How can people bowl in shopping malls while my friends are in trenches?" The world did not pause for war, and that felt wrong. Malcolm's last mission stayed with him. The air was unstable that day. Desert winds unpredictable. The radio chatter was tense. There were friendly units on the ground. There was movement detected nearby. There were decisions to make. Clearance granted. Coordinates confirmed. He pressed the control. From above, there was only a flash. A bloom of light. Then smoke. Then static in his headset. Back at base, no one celebrated. They never did. You remove your helmet. You walk away from the aircraft. You say little. Because even when the mission is successful, something shifts inside you. Months later in Chicago, he would stand on a bridge over the river at night. He would watch reflections tremble in the dark water. And he would think about how the world is divided. There is the world that knows war, and the world that doesn't. He belonged to both, and to neither. Post-traumatic stress is not constant screaming. Sometimes it is silence. It is feeling detached in a crowded room. It is missing the brotherhood so deeply that ordinary friendships feel thin. On the front lines, bonds are forged in danger. You trust someone with your life. You share fear. You share exhaustion. You share survival. Back home, conversations revolve around weather or sports, and you feel like a visitor. For a long time, Malcolm tried to handle it alone. Many veterans do. Strength becomes a reflex. Admitting struggle feels like weakness, but isolation deepens the fracture. Eventually, he realized something simple. The only people who truly understood were other veterans, men and women who also stood in grocery aisles feeling lost, who also woke at night listening for sounds that weren't there, who also felt that strange divide between peace and memory. So he began gathering them. Coffee meetings at first, then group workouts, then long conversations that lasted past midnight. Stories were told, some heavy, some darkly humorous, some unfinished. But in those rooms, no one had to translate their silence. They already spoke the language. Years later, Malcolm no longer flies combat missions. He writes. As a military journalist, he visits conflict zones. Not as a pilot now, but as a witness. He interviews soldiers before deployment. He listens to them after. He understands the look in their eyes. He recognizes the pause before they answer certain questions. He knows what waits for them when they return home. And he tells them something he wishes someone had told him. You are not broken. You are not alone. And you will not always feel like this. Post-traumatic stress does not disappear overnight. It reshapes. It softens at the edges. It becomes part of the story instead of the whole story. Malcolm still walks through Chicago at night sometimes. The city lights no longer feel foreign. They feel fragile, precious, because he has seen places where lights go out and never return. He stands outside a cafe, watches people laughing through the window, and instead of feeling disconnected, he feels protective. This life, this ordinary, simple, peaceful life, it is worth something. He knows that in a way few do. War divides the world into black and white. But healing lives in the gray, in conversation, in brotherhood rebuilt, in admitting that strength sometimes means asking for help. Malcolm Green was once a man who returned home and wondered if he would ever be normal again. Today, he understands something different. Normal was never the goal. Integration was. Acceptance was. Living forward was. And when he speaks to younger veterans now, he says, "There will be a gap between who you were there and who you are here. Build a bridge. Don't try to erase the distance. Cross it, because the war may leave scars, but it does not have to define the rest of the story." And sometimes, the bravest thing a soldier does is learn how to live in peace again.